I'm sure you've heard one of the most cliche sayings in all of humankind ever, and that is two simple words. So when I was in high school, I remember I asked my coach, "Hey coach, what does it take to get to the NBA?" And he responded with two simple words. He said, "Hard work." And I just took that and I just ran with it, which is not bad advice at all, but honestly, for what I'm thinking now, it was very, very vague. And that is not all it takes, and it is very cliche. And what I'm about to talk about in this video, whether you play basketball or not, or whether you play sports or not, this still applies to you. And what I really want to stick with you is that the biggest difference between you and your goals is simply belief. Not your high school coach's belief, not your AU coach's belief, but you. What you believe you can do. But before we get started, comment below if you've ever had a belief that you've given to someone, whether it be a high school coach like I did, and if they gave you good feedback or bad feedback. I want to hear you guys' perspective, and I want to have a conversation with you guys down there in the comments. So everyone that knows me knows since the beginning of time that basketball has basically ruled my life. I grew up playing ball, I love the game, and I've just always been so focused on it. Even to the point to where I would turn down parties or to go hang out with friends, or coaches of other teams in middle school would ask me to come try out for their other sports, and I was just like, no, I can't. I'm a basketball player. I can't do that. Which now looking back on it, I don't regret, but it's something that I wish I would have done because I think I would have been pretty good at other sports. But it's okay because now that I'm here in the present moment, I feel fine because I turned into what I turned into, and I'm proud of that. And I am a firm believer that whatever happens to you or doesn't happen to you was meant to be that way to create what you are now. So of course I played middle school basketball, and so around the end of 8th grade, I already had my friends, and I start going to spring workouts for the high school that I'm zoned for. And I start to see people, I start to get a taste of what high school sports and high school basketball specifically is like. And I mean, everything is going great. I'm just kind of building a name for myself, or like an identity. I'm a middle schooler, so I only know so much. But summer workouts come around, and you start to see people who go and who don't go and who's consistent. And I was always that type of kid that I could never miss a workout. It was like a religion. Like I had to be there, and I was going to give it 1,000% effort because I was going to put my best foot forward, because if I didn't do this, I wasn't making it to the highest level that I wanted to. And fast forward my freshman year, I ended up making the C team, even though I thought I was better, but I did my thing on the C team. I can't complain. I had a decent coach, and he played me a lot. I had a lot of highlights. I got a lot of on-court play. I was kind of the guy on the C team. Then the next year, my 10th grade year, I've already had 1 year under my belt in high school. I already kind of know how it is. I've seen the varsity team play. I've seen JV. And so I ended up making JV. I thought I was closer to varsity, so it was kind of like a little bit more disappointing. But I played JV. I did my best. A couple things ended up happening, which I could talk about in a later video, but I did my thing. I ended up winning Offensive Player of the Year my JV 10th grade year, and that was overall a pretty fun year. Right after that, as I'm approaching my junior year of high school at this point, obviously I'm still going to these summer workouts. I still have the same mindset, like I am going to the NBA, like I'm gonna do this. And the year after, at this point, I'm almost a junior. It's time to get serious about this. I come out for summer league because obviously I'm playing summer league, and this time I'm on the varsity team for summer league. But I start to notice a freshman who didn't even take the game as serious as me, and honestly I thought the gap between me and him was pretty far. I didn't understand why he was playing over me in the summer league, but after much thought and much training that I did, I had a trainer who was there along the way with me, whom I really appreciate. He shall remain nameless, but he would know who he is if he hears my voice and if he knows his story. He ended up telling my dad that, I had a spot at this other school where he coaches at a school called Legacy. And at the time, he was coaching pretty much a varsity reserve team. Now, for those of you that don't know, that's pretty much like, let's say you have a national team, and then you have a varsity reserve that is not as bad as JV, but it's right there with varsity. It's in between. So this trainer, he said, "Eddie, I think you're good. I believe in you. And why don't you come transfer schools and come play? Get a lot of playing time. I'll coach you up and let's do great things." So mind you, in the situation that I'm in, I'm like, bro, let's do it. So my parents end up doing all the paperwork, things like that. I end up transferring schools, and I told nobody at my old school. It was just kind of like I disappeared. I was super frustrated with how things went. And I'm like, yep, I'm transferring. That's it. Fuck you guys. It's whatever. Which now it's like, I shouldn't have had that mindset of fuck you guys because they had nothing to do with it, to be honest. So I showed up to spring workouts at my new school and I'm all on my own. I don't really know absolutely anyone at this school. But that was part of the great thing because I came in thinking I'm going to get a fresh start. No one here knows me. No one here knows how good or bad I am. And it kind of gave me this sense of like confidence. It was like, I can't do any wrong. I've got a spot for me here if I do the worst. And if I do the best, I could maybe reach something here. So I showed up to spring workouts and I didn't miss a single one. And I absolutely ball out. And it was like an attitude of like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Like, I don't care. If I do good, then good. If I do bad, then I don't care. So I end up making the national team at this school instead of the varsity reserve, which I was pretty much already on. And mind you, that was the team I was supposed to be, in quotations, I was supposed to be on. And I'm going from JV, playing public schools, to at a national stage with Legacy Early College. And I'm going to North Carolina. I'm going to Ohio, and we're playing in tournaments where you see guys like Cade Cunningham, Moses Moody, you see Dalen Terry. Like, mind you, let me paint this picture for you. I was probably around like the 8th man in the rotation, and every single guy ahead of me, I believe, ended up playing college basketball, and I think 6 of them ended up playing Division I, and probably about 4 of them ended up playing at least 1 year professional ball. This is my junior year. So this was a huge like wake up call, like, whoa, like there is levels to this shit. So that's how I went from playing JV 1 year to then playing a national schedule the year after and playing against dudes ranked in the top 50 ESPN in high school and guys that ended up being drafted like lottery picks in the NBA. And I would love to talk more about that journey that I had playing basketball my junior and senior year for a national team because I have a lot of stories to tell. So if you guys want to hear more about those, let me know in the comments and I will talk about those in a later video. But this is like a short condensed version of what happened throughout my JV all the way up to junior year, where it was like from 1 year to another, I was playing a whole different league pretty much. And so what I want you to take with you is that the next time you doubt yourself for a second, just think to yourself, nothing really matters. Because that's what I used to have that glimpse of confidence for 1 second, and it allowed me to shoot higher. So have that belief that you can. And even if you don't, fake it till you make it, and you might end up surprising yourself. And this applies to, like I said, anything you do, whether it be sports, whether it be softball, baseball, football, volleyball, in this case basketball. But whatever you do in life, you will or won't do based on what you believe you can or can't do. It's kind of like one of those glass half full and half empty things. The scary part about this is that if you don't have that belief, you won't even realize you're doing anything wrong until it's either too late or you're slowly staying stuck. And you won't know why. It's kind of like swimming in mud. I'm here so you don't make the same mistake that I did. But sooner or later you'd figure it out because all successful people do and they implement it, but better sooner rather than later. So believe that you can, and this part might sound cliche, but fuck what anybody else thinks and keep going for it and have that confidence in yourself, and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. But if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button before you leave, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Nos vemos.